Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
So this is a hand from the East Coast, obviously.
Yep.
This is Parks 1010.
Parks 1010, okay.
Yeah. So very very loose table. It's 10-10-20 for most of the night.
Okay.
It was a little while ago during like Big Stacks tournament. So
this game only runs a couple times
like
a week, right?
It's mainly Tuesday.
Okay, one time a week.
It's a very
okay.
weird. It's a weird day too, because like for those of us at work anyway. But
Yeah.
it's a Tuesday game, and like then it pops up occasionally on the weekend.
Okay.
But usually on the weekend, all the 10-10 players are Borgata 5-10 or up.
Okay.
So, so anyway, I'm in the small blind.
Mm-hmm.
I have about 5,500.
Okay.
And early position, so it's a 10-10-20 hand. So UTG +2 opens to 80.
Okay.
With 5 callers, including the main villain who's in the hijack.
Okay.
Who's fairly spewy, fairly aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
The small blind calls. I'm closing the action in the big blind with two fours, one red four, one black four, 4 diamonds, 4 of clubs.
So you're in the big blind, or are you in the straddle? Are you in the third blind, basically, here?
I'm in the big blind. I'm not in the straddle, so technically I'm not closing the action.
Okay, but you have 2 fours.
I mean, I'm the sixth caller.
Okay.
So I don't think that
I think
that would be a fairly brave squeeze.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. Obviously, the big blind's gonna come in for a price. So 2 black fours.
Right, exactly. So I'm technically not I'm the natural big blind, right? I'm
right.
the second 10.
Mm-hmm.
So the so then the straddle completes obviously,
mm-hmm.
and the flop comes 4 of spades, ace of diamonds, and queen of spades.
4 of spades, ace of diamonds, queen of spades. Okay.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
So I went ahead and I checked. So it was the small blind checked. I checked. It checks around to the hijack, who bets out 260.
260 into 560. Okay.
Yep. Folds back to me,
mm-hmm.
and I pop it to 700.
Okay. Just a couple things here. So this guy in the hijack, right? Like, I mean, you can never not have the best hand here. If this goes heads up, you can never not have the best hand here, right? Like, this guy is not. He's gonna 3-bet aces and queens, right? I assume.
Correct. Yeah. He's very aggressive. He's definitely 3-betting aces and queens. There's no question. I have the best hand right now.
Right. Okay. The other, just one other quick thing.
I would get it. He has me covered.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got like 6. He has me just covered. Like I got like it started him with 55, 56. He has 6K.
Yep.
If he shoved, I would have called.
Right. Of course. He probably.
So,
I mean,
100%. I'm never folding. Folding. He can never have aces or queens.
Just one quick thing going to the flop here is that I know I usually don't have a leading range heads up against the pre-flop raiser all that much. I used to, like old school, when guys would just shovel in a bunch of money. But I'm not saying that I would, always lead here, but you can certainly have a leading range in a multi-way pot here, especially against a pre-flop raiser that's aware that might be checking a lot of good aces here too, just because he realizes there's 6, 7 people in the hand, like ace, king, ace, jack, something like that. So you can consider having a leading range.
I didn't snap check.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't snap check. I thought about actually leading out,
mm-hmm.
right? I did think about leading into the pot, but I decided just with the number of players in the hand and the likelihood of people betting their draws in this particular game, that I went for a check raise intentionally. I don't usually like to slow play bottom set, but the intention was not to slow play. I knew somebody in that field was going to bet. Well,
Okay.
I don't know, but I was fairly certain.
So you make it 700,
Right.
and then it gets back to the guy?
It gets back to him. Everybody else folds.
Yep.
He calls the 700.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
The turn is an offsuit jack. We'll call it the jack of hearts. It doesn't matter. It's not a spade.
Okay.
All right. So on the turn, I bet out 1250.
All right. So the pot's
And the
1960. Hero bets 1250 on the turn, right? Okay.
The reason I bet 1250 is because, it goes back to he's just a bit spewy, but at the same time, once you get to bets over 1K, the absolute bet size becomes large, right?
Sure.
So I bet 1250.
Mm-hmm.
He raises me.
Okay.
He raises me to 2600.
So I just want to make sure that I have the flop cards right because it's important. The ace is not a spade, right? On
Correct.
the flop. All
Yes.
right. So obviously, what you're concerned about here really is king 10 of spades.
Correct.
Or if he's I usually guys, not even the craziest guys, are going to bet call like king 10 off with the king of spades to try to represent, especially when the ace isn't out
this
there.
particular player might call with king 10 with the king of spades.
Okay.
I give him credit for that. He's very aggressive, but not completely insane. I mean, I saw some hands later that made me regret what happened later in the hand, but essentially, so he makes it 2600. But
so if you call the 2600, I'm just trying to figure out how much you have left. You've got 2000 left. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
So the pot right now is, if you call the 2600, the pot will be 7100, and you have 2000 left, right?
Correct.
I mean, I think then with the pot size being what it is, then you just either go with the hand or fold. And I mean, it's tough for me to say, like, I don't know the guy, but I'm just looking at pot size, because when he makes it 2600, we're putting in 52 on the turn. There's already 1960 in there. That means it's 7160, and you've put in 35 of your 55. So he's going to call off with all two-way draws and probably two pair too. So at this point, when you have less than, say, maybe less than a third of a pot size bet left at the end, and you only have 2000, I think your decision here is on the turn.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, in retrospect, I 100% agree, and I think that, I thought about this hand quite a bit,
yeah,
and that's why I called in with it, because I really think I should have shoved the turn. I should have just shoved the turn and been done with it, and if he's got me, he's got me.
Well, because you're going to call, basically going to call off, right? Like, if you call, are you waiting to, check fold a one-liner or a spade at the end? Is that what you're thinking of?
What happened? What actually happened was, I called, right?
Yep.
And the river is the 7 of spades.
The river is the 7 of spades.
Correct.
Okay.
So I checked.
Mm-hmm.
He bet I think 1750.
He didn't put you all in?
He didn't put me all in. He bet a 1750. I don't think he was thinking about it, but I don't think he was really thinking about his sizing, but it just seemed like, almost like a milking value bet. I mean, I just didn't think, once the 7 of spades came on the river, I just don't see unless he's really overplaying ace queen, I just don't see a single hand that I can beat. I mean, ace jack of spades, ace 10 of spades.
Right.
He doesn't have ace king of spades because he would have 3-bet that pre-flop. He doesn't have queens. He doesn't have aces. But
by the way, he's probably 3-betting ace queen a fair amount pre-flop too if he's in a squeeze spot and you think he's aggressive.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, he could have potentially 3-bet ace queen as well. So I mean, it's ace jack of spades, ace 10 of spades, king 10 of spades, or king 10 with the king of spades. I do give him credit for calling king 10 with the king of spades potentially. I mean, there's no value that I'm beating.
Right.
I mean, that's how I felt. But
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I understand that the pot odds were just so absurdly in my favor, but the reason I mucked is because I just didn't see what I could possibly beat. And I think that I agree. A mistake was on the turn. I should have just shoved on the turn.
So I want to say the pot is 9,000 on the river, 1750 for you to call. So you're getting four. Let's see here, maybe five carry three, maybe 5 to 1 here. I'm just looking at it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
nine thousand
almost
seventeen.
like 4.7 something. I think I don't
Uh
know.
huh. I mean, hey, like I said, I would shove the turn here. Really on the river here, it's tough for me to find a hand that you beat. Are you good here 1 out of 6 times? Uh,
Hard to say, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
I get, but like you said, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any real, especially even if he was overvaluing something on the turn, like aces up, is he really going to bet the river when the front door spade comes in? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
actually, it was really funny because we were playing the game later on in the hand later on as we were playing. He said I had a really good friend to my right and a really good friend to my left,
mhm.
and as later on he said, oh, just so you know, I had pocket queens because I tank folded the river, obviously.
He had
Like
pocket. He said he
the
had
guy had
pocket
pocket
queens.
queens,
Yeah.
and the whole table laughed, including me because it was just such a like clear lie. I mean, if
Yeah.
he had pocket queens, we would have gotten it all in on the flop, and it would have been set over set. And he slow played queens, and congratulations to him. But like, he definitely didn't have pocket queens, and that's what I guess on the turn when he raised. I mean, on the East Coast, so like I've played a lot in California because I go to California for work like 3 times a year for a
Okay.
week,
Hmm.
and on the East Coast, just like players at 5'10" plus, they tend to even rather laggy ones tend to be much more nitty in general than players on the West Coast. Like as a general rule, I mean,
Sure.
obviously there's never a complete stereotype, but when you look at like Borgata, Parks,
No, I've heard the same thing too, but I just think it's
very nitty.
yeah. I mean, you're right. There's no way he's gonna have queens there just because of pre-flop too.
That's absurd. Why would
Yeah.
you bet queens on the river? You're either good or you're not. You know, I mean, it just doesn't. There's no value in betting queens on the river, right?
It
I mean,
seems yeah. I mean, queens would seem pretty stupid to bet at the end if you arrive there because your hand looks like spades a lot. So and you probably
Ace
have
queen with the ace of spades is the only like sort of legitimate bluffing hand that I see that makes a lot of sense. But you know,
yeah.
I mean,
Like I said, I think I would just jam the turn. But thank you for the call, Greg. I think you were a first time caller. I appreciate it. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.